The final race of the round of 12 is underway from Charlotte. Two drivers up front are doing double duty this weekend. AJ Allmendinger and Ty Gibbs.
You instantly see just how technical this infield portion of this road course is. A bunch of switchbacks, now a left-hander, and now climbing up to the banking that the 1.5 mile oval here at Charlotte is known for. This is turns 1 and 2 of the banking, and they'll come down the back straightaway into that backstretch chicane, which on the map looks pretty simple. In person is anything but.
Yeah, single file is very difficult. Side by side is almost impossible. You get right here, you're next to somebody. Somebody needs to concede the spot, get back single file. You can see right here, they're arguing for space. So dangerous. So easy to get in a wreck right there. There's Noah Gregson trying to work himself up from the back. That 9 car.
Yeah, then if you're successful in the backstretch, Rick, you come to this front stretch chicane, kind of a sweeping entry to a quick right left. You see those bright blue curbs on the inside, very tall curbs. If you get those two continuous, you can easily damage your car.
They call them turtles here at the Roval. Blue humps as the field continues all the way through for lap 1.
You mentioned it, Rick. These first and second place drivers, Allmendinger and Gibbs, they're both in the Cup race. So they just spent some time in their Cup cars. Those cars shift, brake, turn, everything different in these cars. So these first few laps are just getting reacclimated to this car.
You mentioned it in the open about elevation. I always thought this infield was perfectly flat. I didn't know there was any elevation. But that run down into turn 8 is a downhiller for this left-hand corner. Almost blind in a couple sections through the infield.
We're following along upper right corner of your screen. You see the 16 AJ Allmendinger out in front as he works his way right now through that backstretch chicane. And the leader will always be shown up there. The field's strung out now on this lap 2 of this 20-lap first stage. A little bit of distance now between Allmendinger and Gibbs. Has to be difficult for drivers in this field, knowing how good AJ Allmendinger is at this racetrack, to have him not only win the pole but now start to pull away from this field after winning the last 3 races here.
I heard the conversation down on pit road about Chris Gale being concerned about points, although we think Ty Gibbs is in really good shape right here. You know, he's in great shape. A long way to go in this first stage, but I think in Chris Gale's mind right now, hey, this is okay. Even if we can't pass AJ, if we could be right here, we could get a ton of stage points, Marty.
As you see, Daniel Hamrick, the defending champion in the Xfinity Series, going off course. That's exactly right, Jeff. He said, if I walk away from potential points in stage 1, I'm going to maybe throw away the entire season. Talking about Chris Gale, crew chief for Ty Gibbs. So he said, I have to take those points in stage 1. Stage 2, maybe I could flip that around, and damage there for the 11 as well.
Damage. The entire left side of this 11 car is destroyed. A big story in the playoffs. Currently above, but can he stay there? Let's see. He turns in, running third, turned into the right-hander. We saw this earlier today. The same exact spot Ross Chastain hit in Cup qualifying, just got a little wide. And look at that, runs out of room, hits that plastic-covered tire barrier, the left side damage you see on the bottom of your screen. The 11 comes to pit road, and as he comes to pit road, he plummets down the playoff leaderboard below the cut line. Now it is damage control for this 11. Dave.
And Steve, remember how well this day started for Daniel Hamrick. Qualified the car in 3rd position, started up front, started where he needed to be to get points at the end of stage 1. And he'd been encouraged by his spotter for all of the opening laps. Just take your time. Don't let your tongue hang out. Just be smooth, be smooth. And right there, a mistake by the driver starts his day poorly during the race. Left side damage, I'll try to hammer out and get Daniel back out there. The one good thing, these laps take a while. He will have time to rejoin the field, but he'll be way behind.
Yeah, Dave, he is going to be way behind. You wonder how much damage they have other than just what they were able to beat out with the hammers. Lap 3 of a 67 lap race in the position that Daniel Hamrick's in. That is a costly mistake. He's going to have to just, all they can do, Steve, at this point is hope the car is not damaged too much and then just fight and scratch and claw and hope other people have issues.
Yeah, it's 3 teams for Colleague Racing, AJ Allmendinger being one of them currently leading. But you heard when Jeff talked to him in pre-race, Rick, that he thought his 2 teammates would be some competition, the 11 and the 10. The 10 unable to make the playoffs, which was a shock. Landon Castle, and now the 11 in real jeopardy of not moving on if this continues.
Yeah, he's fallen now to 25 points below the cut line. Again, at the end of this race, the bottom 4 in points are eliminated. Kim.
And Sam Mayer currently running in the 5th position. He has a win here in Trans Am last year, but crew chief Taylor Moyer said that's not always a great thing because it makes Sam more confident. It makes him take bolder and bigger risks. So when I talked to Sam before he hopped in the car, he said the team has been reminding him, just be diligent in your decision making. We just need a solid day here today. Don't take those big risks. Right now, Mayer running behind Creed in the 5th position.
And Rick, if I was Taylor Moyer on top of the pit box for the 1, I would let him know the 11 has had issues. Listen, everything you were worried about, all your concerns, one car has already made a mistake. That might help this young driver, this 19-year-old behind the wheel, to take a deep breath. Seeing other guys make a mistake.
Nothing to lose, and we got everything to lose.
You know, just be able to calm down, take a deep breath, and understand what's at stake. I would give him that information.
We have everything to lose. You just heard him talk on the radio. Already problems for the reigning Xfinity Series champion, Hamrick, down below the cut line.
Daniel Kvyat making his Xfinity Series debut here today, driving the number 26 for Sam Hunt Racing. Now, Daniel has experience in NASCAR. He's driven in the Cup Series, but this is his first time in this series, his first time at the Roval, and his first time really driving on an oval in a stock car. I caught up with him earlier today about what he anticipates being challenging about today's competition. This is what he had to say about the specifics of this track.
I don't think the oval part will be that challenging actually, but the incline, or how do you call it here in America, the camber.
Sure, yes.
Yeah, it's very steep and it's very impressive to look at, but the corners are very twisty section, a lot of slow corners, so you need to be patient, and yeah, excited. Like I said on the simulator, it all went well, and ready to go.
Figures out this car in this series, but he did correct me when I joked with him about being new to oval racing. He said, hey, I've got some oval experience. I ran a late model at Hickory to get a few laps under my belt. And if you know anything, very different than racing here at the oval, but experience nonetheless.
NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Credit One Bank, a credit card company, and by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Thanks for joining us here on NBC, as well as streaming right now on Peacock. We ride along with J.J. Yaley, and want to thank Work Pro Tools for that on board. And we're riding along on the helmet of Violent Racetrack here as well, as we see his head bouncing around.
It's such a great shot. Look how blind these corners are. Where's the next corner? You cannot see it. The elevation changes here just shock me every time I come here. He's approaching turn 4 right now. Down this back straightaway, turn 5, which is where we saw Daniel Hamrick have his problems. Carry a lot of speed in here. If you get offline, it kind of sucks you into that grass and into that wall. Look at this blind corner. Where is the corner? You cannot see the racetrack until right now. I think, oh, we're spinning.
And around he goes.
Lock her down. No contact with anything.
Back around right there. Got 3 coming at you, then you got a little gap.
I feel like we jinxed
And
it.
spin it here. 1 more coming. After this one here, spin around.
I'd say, yeah, Burton, you were talking.
Get back going here. He's coming outside.
But that
here.
just proves how easy it was, right? You didn't see a huge mistake. Just how slippery that infield area of this racetrack is. He was following Marco Andretti right there, trying to keep pace, running in the 26th position. He just lost rear grip.
And Steve, you're exactly right. And that's why it's so hard. The infield of this racetrack looks like it's, just a normal racetrack, but it's not. It's slick, and he was just trying to accelerate. Back end of the car came around, and he just never was able to catch up with it.
Yeah, it just gets a little behind on the steering. And that's the fear. Well, I was going to say, Rick, that's the fear for the playoff drivers, because there's going to be 25 or 30 cars in the lead lap at the end of this race. So if you make that mistake in the final lap, you could lose 20 points on the final lap of the race.
Every point is a position. So every position on the racetrack, you can earn a point. And then at the end of stage 1 and stage 2, there are bonus points, because if you're in the top 10, you receive points there. And that's what especially the playoff drivers are fighting for right now. Every position on the racetrack, and hopefully getting into that top 10 at the end of stage 1.
RCR teammates right here at the 2 and the 21, both from Richard Childress Racing. Sheldon Creed, the driver of that red number 2. Austin Hill, the driver of the the white and blue 21.
I sense a touch of frustration building behind the 2 of Sheldon Creed. We keep seeing cars stack up behind Creed. Haven't been able to get by.
Big wreck there by the 68. Chris Wright, 28-year-old from Wexford, Pennsylvania, and that brings out the caution. A lot of damage to the front.
Sitting in turn 1, the outside of turn 1.
Nope. I don't want you to move here. I don't want you to move.
Giving some good instructions. You see the field coming by, so the spotters just letting them know, sit right there, so the drivers all know where you're going to be. I think the 68 hit that off pit road.
You can roll, stay to the right. Just get moving and stay to the right. We'll come back around here.
If he can get back around.
Yeah.
TJ Majors, spotter, long-time spotter, using that experience to get some good advice. We think about it, spotters, just when it comes to wrecks or
damage. Just look at it.
But helping a driver like that sort himself through this, just in the corner too hard, trying to get the car in turn. Gosh, front legs locked up. Look at that impact.
Misses though. You see how thick the wall is above that. That's all tire pack, which would soften that impact. He misses the tire pack, hits right on that soft wall.
First caution comes out here at the Charlotte Roval. Chris Wright into turn 1 wall.
The 68 of Chris Wright done early here today. We saw him bring it down pit road, reporting transmission issues. The crew thought they might have got it figured out, sent him back out there on the racetrack, then said when he hit the brakes he wasn't feeling anything. So crew's still trying to figure out exactly what was going on with that race car, but unfortunately that trouble is going to end their day early here at the Roval.
Tomorrow on NBC, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs continue from right here at the Charlotte Roval. It's elimination time in the round of 12. Race coverage beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern. At 1 o'clock, it's Cup Series countdown to green, and you do not want to miss. NASCAR President Steve Phelps will join Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the Peacock pit box. So many different storylines in 2022. The new car, 19 different winners, but also there have been injuries this season, and Steve Phelps will cover all of those. Chase Elliott with Dale Jr. live tomorrow as Chase Elliott looking for his second championship. And of course, playoff drivers through the field. We will be checking on all of them. Rutledge Wood, you have found yourself at one of the many eventful places here at this Roval.
Absolutely, Rick. You know, here on the backstretch, you can see these big blue curbs that line everything. They call them turtles. And actually, one of the cool things outside of racing they do here at Charlotte is a STEAM project, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And they actually invite schools to come by and they paint the turtles. It's a big competition every single year. And there's so many different schools that come out here. They learn about the grip on the track, the braking, the acceleration. It was actually the Royal Oak School of the Arts, which it's rumored the Dale Sr. went there at some point. They actually won the best decorated turtle this year. But Jeff, for people that maybe don't understand the complexities of the Roval, part road course, part oval, you know, if kids try to understand how much speed you bring into this and then slow down to do that quick left and right, how do you explain that to people who've never been on a racetrack like this before?
You know, Rutledge, I think that just, you know, showing what we just showed with J.J. Yeley, the wreck we just showed, all, you know, Chris Wright, it shows you how difficult it is. And you're going so fast in certain sections and you have to slow down so much to change directions. It's just it's a tough test for man and machine, and you both have to be working together. And I just think the images and the visuals of this racetrack never seem to disappoint.
We had just a handful of cars come to pit road, notably Noah Gragson in that backup car came. It looked like fresh tires and some adjustments. We'll see now how these drivers, they navigated this restart zone successfully the first time, and now they're on worn tires and worn brakes. We'll see if it adds to the challenge.
Back into the restart zone they go, halfway through stage one, coming up on the 12th lap of 20. Allmendinger back through the gears quickly as he goes into one. Little contact deeper in the field, 2 and 3 wide as they navigate through 2 and 3 here.
These are tense moments for those drivers that are trying to earn points to advance their way to the playoffs. Kind of got strung out a little bit before this caution, and now look at the mess you've got.
Seven and 8, and now up onto the oval here at Charlotte. See the point standings again. The bottom 4 eliminated after today's race. 25 points down. Daniel Hamrick already got into a wall inside the Roval portion here.
Some guys locking the brakes up in the back, sliding the front brakes, hoping you don't flat spot your tires too much. A little contact right there.
And the 26 did not leave the 27 much room right there. Danny Kvyat and Jeb Burton.
And a little more tire smoke here as we see the 9 of Noah Gragson trying to work his way through a lot of this traffic.
So tight side by side through there. Kaz Gralla in that 34 car. Ryan Sieg in the 39. Good battle right here. Racing hard.
Gregson's all the way up to 20th with those fresher tires. Marty, what are you hearing from this 9 car?
Yeah, I think that's a signal that fresh tires are going to mean a lot later in the race today, Steve, so file that one away. But what an effort from Junior Motorsports. Gregson in the backup car started 37th today, made his way up all the way to 17th, and now he's got to do it again. But the theory here among the team, Steve, is that they are not going to pit. At the end of stage 1, they told Gregson, take it easy on the tires here. That's how they plan to gain their track position back. But it was a full-on effort, all 4 teams getting this backup car ready for Noah Gregson today.
Well, it's an impressive run, and it's been an impressive stretch of 10 races, 5 wins. You can have a 50% win ratio in 10 weeks. That is impressive. Noah Gregson finding kind of that extra push when it matters. Right in front of the 9, though, that 39, Jeff, you were just pointing it out, right? The 39 currently the first driver below the cut line at -5 points. Ryan Sieg desperately needs to gain a few positions to try to score those also important stage points in 8 laps.
This is a difficult situation for that 9 team, Noah Gregson. They might, you know, they know they're into the next round of the playoffs. They really don't need to run for stage points. They won, so they're in. They know they're in. So what they're saying is, hey, you can't go slow enough. Everybody in front of you is going to pit. We need you to save these tires because we're not going to pit at the end of this stage, but we need those tires to be as good as they can be. So just be the first guy. All new tires. That's all you need to do. Don't let anybody pass you, but you don't even really need to advance your position.
Well, Sage Karam in the 0-2 right behind him is making that a little more difficult. He also came and put on tires and doing a really nice job. One of the many drivers we have in the field today that has competed in the Indy 500. Right? We talk a lot about Marco Andretti, but Sage Karam we've seen run a few Xfinity races this year. 5 drivers in today's field have taken the green flag in the Indy 500. That's an impressive lineup.
That is impressive. The open wheel prowess that so many of these drivers have, including the one up front with A.J. Allmendinger. Dave.
And that's a brand new race car for Allmendinger. How do you get a brand new race car in NASCAR? Well, you don't go to the NASCAR vending machine and just pop one out. You usually wait for a car that gets wrecked and keeps the center section, which you need for the driver's safety, and you can rebuild the front and the rear of that car to newer, better specifications. Chris Rice told me that's exactly what they did at Kaulig Racing. This car was destroyed at Road America earlier this year. They went to work on it with all the updates they knew AJ would probably like, and then in qualifying, he set down a blistering lap to start first on this race, and he's showing that that car is remarkably good on this track. Will it last a day? Can it go to victory lane? That remains to be seen, Kim.
Well, Dave, for Riley Herbst, the mindset today, points, points, points. He told me right now, getting a great look from the Ford Performance onboard camera. He said he came in 10th in the playoff standings, 10 points to the bad, and that's despite having a strong finish of 5th at Texas, 11th at Talladega. And Riley was honest and said they thought if they had just a solid first round, they'd be able to kind of coast into the next round, but that has not been the case. And he said it all falls back on them not getting stage points. So they will move on from that mindset, that shortcoming, and be extra aggressive here today to try and grab stage points. Riley started in the 11th position, has worked his way up to the 8th. As he runs, he would currently move on to the next round, grabbing stage points.
Yeah, Kim, that's what he's looking for right now, is every point he can get. Just under 6 laps to go in stage 1 from here at Charlotte. It's still A.J. Allmendinger up front. And Marco Andretti has spun on the racetrack. He gets it straightened back out. Let's take a look at what happened.
Yeah, it looks like this is the backstretch chicane. Just gets in there a little too hot, loses the rear tires, slides over those turtles, the big blue curbs. Doesn't look like any real severe damage. Looks like he's moving to the inside of the 26. That's Danny Kvyat in the 26, and just misjudges his entry speed. That's, you know, that's what experience, right? He has a lot of experience racing, but making his first Xfinity Series start running 25th.
Marco, that's what wheel hop feels like.
Yeah.
A little different from the open wheel lighter cars as Marco Andretti spins around here.
Green flag pit stops are underway as stage 1 quickly comes to a close. Drivers are using this as an opportunity to bring it in, make some adjustments, and gain some track position as we get ready to finish this stage. Going into stage 2, Preston Pardis now in the pits, driving that number 91, getting some Sunoco fuel, changing both right side tires. Looks like a 4-tire stop and almost a full can of Sunoco fuel for the 91 of Preston Pardis. I also saw the 36 of Alex LeBay bring it in with a bit of debris on the front of his car. The 45 of Casgralla also came in under green flag pit stops. Just a few laps left here in stage 1.
And that led to a 15th place starting spot.
So as we're coming up on 2 to go, that means that the pit road will be closed. Here was the issue between the 7 and the 10. Yeah. Those two had been running nose to tail.
Well, and they had some close action on the front stretch chicane. The 10 of Landon Castle had been working to get by the 7 of Allgaier. That was a little late into it there, but I think we can all assume that they finally disagreed over the same piece of real estate.
It was a fierce battle for multiple laps. Steve, you said to me while we were at break, you're like, yeah, the 7 car's holding the 10 up a little bit.
Not anymore. Austin Hill in the 21 and Sam Mayer in the 1. They're also fighting for real estate.
It's a really important race for Sam Mayer, in my opinion. He has some experience on this racetrack. He's won a Trans Am race here we spoke about earlier. He's a good road racer, trying to figure out how to put a whole race together. And with the points on the line, with an opportunity to go to the next round of the playoffs, this is a great opportunity for Sam to take that next step, right? How do I stay aggressive? How do I have speed and finish the race and get points, right? This is a great opportunity for Sam Mayer. I think he's got the ability to do it. There's no doubt. It's just giving him enough experience.
And even with that spin, you see the 7 of Justin Allgaier, 4th car in line right here, running 6th.
Stayed inside the top 10 as we come up on the final lap of stage 1.
Yeah, playoff drivers 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So definitely filling up the top 5, top 6 of this race so far.
Well, we're gonna AJ Allmendinger, Steve, he's staying out on the racetrack. We saw a lot of people pitting, staying out to win this stage, to get that stage point going to the next round of the playoffs. The price for that's going to be large. He is going to start behind quite a few cars. He gives Mayer, Austin Hill, Riley Herbst, Allgaier, all those guys trying to get points will be buried in the field.
So winning a stage will get you a playoff point. As you mentioned, Jeff, those advance with you into the next round. We already know A.J. Allmendinger is going to the next round. He comes into this race with 38 playoff points. If he does win this stage, that would be a 39th playoff point. The only driver with more is Noah Gragson. With his 7 wins already, he has 56 playoff points. As Allmendinger flawlessly negotiating the Charlotte Roval, he's won 3 times before, never lost on this racetrack in the Xfinity Series. And for the final time through the front stretch chicane, he will finish just in front of Ty Gibbs. They're 1 and 2 in stage 1. And this is how far back you have to go. Sam Mayer in the 1 will finish in the 3rd spot. And it's Austin Hill, Riley Herbst, Justin Allgaier hanging on for a 6th place finish in stage 1. James Davison, the 36-year-old out of Australia, the first non-playoff driver, finishing in the 7th position. Landon Castle 8th, Josh Berry 9th, and Sage Karam rounding out the top 10 here at Charlotte. So it's A.J. Allmendinger. He's starting off the right way, winning stage 1.
Stage 1 complete here from the Charlotte Roval. Take a look at that top 10 in the finishing of Stage 1. James Davison, the IndyCar driver who's making his 6th Xfinity Series start today, finishing in that top 10. Now, I caught up with James earlier today, and I talked with him about taking time away from driving the stock car. He hasn't driven in this series in over a year. He told me the challenge isn't getting back into a stock car. It's not getting back into racing. It's the talent level in this field. He was candid with me about the fact that these are some of the best drivers that he's raced. He mentioned guys like AJ Allmendinger and Ty Gibbs. They're actively taking it to Cup Series champions every week. They are fierce competitors. And guys like James Davison, who come over from open wheel racing, they know that. Now, in regards to James and his run today, already off to a strong start here in Stage 1, but he also told me what he would consider a success today would be a top 5 finish overall, especially knowing he doesn't have a playoff to battle for. He's willing to put it all on the line here. 2 stages left to go. Keep an eye on James Davison.
Stage 1 is complete, and pit road about to get busy now as Stage 1 winner AJ Allmendinger will lead the field onto pit road. Dave?
Rick, how good is your plan? He was told stick to the plan we talked about on Tuesday. I assume that means winning the race and maybe even Stage 1. Slight air pressure adjustment for handling here, Kim.
And you see Sam Mayer top right. Points racing here. They got that done, finishing 3rd in the stage. Sam said it's just a little bit loose, needs more rear security. You see that chassis adjustment right there. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, Marty.
With 9 stage points, Ty Gibbs is now locked into the round of 8. They can go race the rest of the race from where they are. You see Austin Hill, bottom right of your screen, finished 4th in this stage. He said he had a power steering issue at the end of Stage 1. He said it almost completely locked up at one point and would no longer turn to the right. So they had a fairly comfortable lead coming in. Now you look at the points where they are right now. Austin Hill, the race off pit road, actually Ty Gibbs gaining a spot, but Steve, a power steering issue and locking up at a road course. What kind of problem would that be behind the wheel for the driver?
Well, nearly impossible behind the wheel because the caster settings they run in this car. It looked like a gallon jug, like they're putting some fluid in it. The reason that's a little interesting is I don't see any fluid under the hood. So I'm not sure where the leak is. You mentioned it, Marty. The 54 passes the 16 on pit road.
Field lined up 2 by 2 for the restart, and again a few drivers stayed out, and that is why you don't see Allmendinger or Gibbs up front here now. Those two came off of pit road 1 and 2. Gibbs coming off just in front of Allmendinger. Here are the stage points that went out. Allmendinger, Gibbs, Mayer, Austin Hill, Riley Herbst, Allgaier, Berry, all getting stage points. Again, It doesn't matter for Allmendinger. It does for Gibbs. Gibbs has now locked himself into the next round points-wise, so he doesn't even need a win to get to the next round. He is secured a spot in the round of 8 that's coming up starting next week in Vegas.
So you mentioned you see the 2 Monster Energy cars on the outside. The first one in line is Ty Gibbs. The white car with the green nose, A.J. Allmendinger on the inside.
Those are the first 2 cars that came off of pit road. Everyone else stayed out under this most recent caution. Noah Gragson hard into turn number 1, and they're 3 wide for second. Bottleneck up through turns 2.
Look at the advantage that 54 car of Ty Gibbs has on the 16 of Allmendinger.
How about the 7 of Allgaier also passing on the outside as he has closed the gap now on Allmendinger.
See the 11 right there, Daniel Hamrick, a nice recovery after that early accident.
I'm curious to see what kind of speed this car has. They pitted earlier, put tires on it to get this track position. Now they're going to understand how bad the damage is.
Down the backstretch and into the backstretch chicane. Sheldon Creed in the 2 out front. Noah Gragson running second. Dave.
I just checked in with Jason Trincheri, the crew chief on the 11 for Daniel Hamrick. I said, what's your biggest concern? He said, tire situation. They only have 2 fresh right side tires remaining, 2 stickers. So they've either got to put on a full use set or work that right side till the end. The damage appears to be okay otherwise for Hamrick.
That can be just a concern. You see the amount of laps left, right? 44 to go in the race. So the good news is, if you know, you can have it kind of caution-free and get a nice gap with this set of tires that's currently on there. It won't be that big of an issue, but if you start to see a bunch of yellows, it's going to be really concerning on when you put on that set of tires. We see A.J. Allmendinger here chasing that 7 of Justin Allgaier around just in front of him, the 98 of Riley Herbst. So that 16 car continues to lock up front tires. We've seen that really a lot of the weekend.
Allgaier was able to get around Allmendinger's. We see a little bit of tire smoke coming out of the 7 now.
Yeah, now I'm questioning if it was the 16 the last time I saw, or if it was the 7. Is it tire smoke out of the 7, or is it engine smoke?
That
or is
right
it rubbing?
side.
Yeah. Like, my point is, when I equate tire smoke, I'm thinking on the brake sliding tires, but that 7 car is definitely smoking at some other times. So we'll take a closer look to see if there's some damage on the right side as he comes here into the chicane. The red car, kind of middle of your screen, when he turns in.
Looks pretty clean as far as the body.
That's what the question I have is it something we don't see, like a crush panel has come loose from that contact with the 10 when they spun earlier? And is it sitting on the right rear tire, or is it actually out of the engine, the exhaust on the right side of these cars? It's really hard to tell. We'll just have to keep an eye on it as he runs.
And Kim's letting us know that they have not said anything on the radio as far as an issue. But again, you see a little bit of smoke every time he takes a left-hand turn.
Crew Chief Jason Burdett at the bottom of your screen right here. It's just
there again.
I think that's coming out of the exhaust.
The pipes, yeah, it does, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It looks like the pipes.
Is it just under downshifts? Let's see. See right there?
Yep.
Just wonder if it's under high RPMs on downshifts. Right there.
Out again.
Corner entry again.
Got that blue oil smoke color. We'll just have to see as the 7 runs here.
Only 20 points above the cut line is Justin Allgaier.
Smoke on your downshifts.
And an issue there for the 35. Brad Perez.
Spot for me and Randy. You all right? Keep it rolling. Be ready for 4 tires. Brad, let us know how it feels.
A lot of smoke. Andy Lally has some damage to that right front.
Are you willing to connect the dots between that nose damage and a car that got spun out, Rick? Because
okay, go.
It's definitely some heavy damage on that right front. kind of late. And we see him spinning around. Hard to tell how he got there.
Brad Perez in that 35. Had a 20th place finish at Watkins Glen in his only Xfinity Series start. Also a tire tech.
Yeah, this is 08 now, kind of limping to pit road here.
Andy Lally, 5 class wins in the 24 hours at Daytona. Call him a road course expert, as we see Brandon Jones in the 19 closing the gap on the 9 of Noah Gragson.
Well, Brandon Jones was not in position to get stage points in stage 1, so they pitted early before the end of the stage, put tires on, and now battling Noah Gragson for second. Noah Gragson pitted on lap 10. Brandon Jones on lap 17. So better tires on the car of Brandon Jones. They wanted this thing to run green to try to get some of those stage points that they were not able to get in the first one.
There's Sheldon Creed in the 2, race leader. 6 laps, now 7 in stage 2. Here's a look at what happened to Andy Lally.
Yeah, the damage is already done at this point. This is just it rubbing. And then the tire finally, I think, blows right there. You see all the sparks.
I'd say everybody that's in front of him right now is fortunate. Lucky he got that car slowed down and to the right, not making contact with someone else with that right front down. Nice job, really.
Yeah. There's A.J. Allmendinger in the 16 chasing after the 7 of Allgaier. And still smoke out of the left or the right side for Allgaier.
Allmendinger just had not been able to get by Allgaier. We saw him lead the race, dominate the first section, lost his track position. Gibbs beat him off pit road. Ty is up to 4th.
Allmendinger still back in the 10th position. Dave.
And the report from the driver back to the pit box is cannot get this car to turn, really bad in traffic. Now, remember, this is the first time that he's been in traffic basically all day. A.J. Allmendinger qualified on the pole and led the first part of that race. But he's complaining about the handling once he gets in and amongst all these cars. We'll see if they need to make a big change for him to win this race, Marty, after they come to pit road next.
They certainly need to update Austin Hill, playoff driver way back in 32nd and precariously just 19 points above the cut line after a fantastic first round so far. Steve, here's what happened. The cap had come actually off of the power steering pump, and so they had to put that back on and put fluid on it, put that back on, but the power steering has not come back for Austin Hill yet. So Jeff, I can't imagine what he's going through. Here's what Austin said on the adjustments he's going to have to make behind the wheel to drive the car.
Steve, can you burn up a power steering pump? I mean, if they had left the cap off and the fluid came out of it, will it burn up?
You can. You know, so he said the cap came off the pump. So just to explain it, the pump really has a built-in reservoir. It's one in the same. Cap came off, fluid came out. So a couple things. One, you can burn the pump up. The other thing is sometimes the system actually has to be primed. So if you can imagine it takes all the fluid out. Now you have empty lines. There could be air pockets. So just because you put fluid into it without cracking some of the fittings loose to let some of the air out, you might have basically an airlock situation. That would be the next thing I would try on the 21, but I would wait till the caution to try it.
Still smoke coming out of the 08 of Andy Lally. All that damage to the right front. There's a little contact right there for Andy Lally. That's the reason for the right front damage.
The 21 of Austin Hill still experiencing some issues with that race car. He's reporting he still does not have power steering. He is out on the track, but no power steering. Now, I caught up with the crew chief of this 21 team, Andy Street, earlier this afternoon before the race, and they came into this competition incredibly confident in regards to their road course program and where they sit in the playoffs. But one of the interesting things that Andy told me about Austin and their ability to learn and grow together is their ability to problem solve. He said he's never been with a driver who at this early in their career has the ability to relay to his crew chief just what he needs out of the race car. Andy was so complimentary of Austin, saying as this season has gone on, he's really gone from giving them problems to helping give them solutions for how they can get him back out there on the track and just what he needs to be successful out there. Now we're getting to see that problem solving abilities here on display as the 21 team unfortunately struggling here in stage 2.
Make sure to download the official app of NASCAR. You can follow the action with free live scoring, in-car cameras, and a radio broadcast. All you have to do is search NASCAR in your app store, and you can download and start a free trial. As the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs on NBC, it's a drive for the Cure 250 from the Charlotte Roval. Right now, it's Sheldon Creed who is out front. Ty Gibbs running second. Brandon Jones has moved up to the third position. Noah Gregson back in fourth. Sage Karam is fifth. A little further back, interesting battle between Allmendinger and Allgaier. Allgaier in the 7, Allmendinger in the 16. We're riding along with him, and a little contact here, and doesn't get the 7 turned around, but it looks as though A.J. Allmendinger is a little bit fed up.
Yeah, he just was pushing hard. Finally, you know, just the 7 was holding up. He just could not find a way around him. Kept pushing here, kept pushing. Finally took advantage. Right here, said, okay, had enough. Coming up. Sam Mayer taking advantage of it also. Just good hard racing.
39 right here of Ryan Sieg. Currently 17th, I believe. I think he missed the backstretch chicane and then had to do a stop and go on the front stretch. So let's listen in.
I'm just trying to figure out who's out here trying to with us and who's actually racing, because this guy's in the way. 100%.
And they're fired up on the radio. That's the pressure of the playoffs is what that sounds like. Currently, you see on the bottom left, -12. Now, the good news is -12 running 18th, right? So there's points available if they can find a way to improve. But you could definitely hear the pressure. And then how about the 19 and the 98 currently tied? How many times have we seen cut races come down to a tiebreaker, 1 point, 2 point, 3 points? So close in the history of these cut races. You got to count every point, every position for the whole round.
Right.
You just can't wake up here at the Roval and, oh, now I have to better start counting points.
And Stevie, you mentioned the word position as we see the 39 missing that backstretch chicane and not stopping.
So he has the option to come around to the front stretch and stop in the restart zone. You're going to see him on the left-hand side. There he is, stopping and serving his penalty.
And they do that because sometimes you just can't stop. I mean, sometimes there's no way to stop in that designated area, so they give you a second chance over here.
And I would have told my spotter that's what I would encourage. If you're going to miss it, off the brake, on the gas. Hammer down, drive as fast as you can over to the front stretch. You're going to lose time regardless. Let's lose the least amount.
You said position, and when we have a tie at the end of any playoff round that's an elimination round, it goes back to the best finish of those drivers that are tied in that round. So whoever has the best finish between, for example, right now, Brandon Jones and Riley Herbst in this round would advance.
Daniel Hamrick under attack from his teammate, A.J. Allmendinger. Good comeback by this 11 team. Look at this move right here. That's an aggressive move. Clearly that car is not 100%, but still fighting. just got past. They're now back in 9th place. So with 6 laps left to go in this stage, see them stacked up behind him. These guys get by him. The 11 won't get stage points again. Get any in the first one, may not get any in this one.
How smart is Sam Mayer right now to follow the 19-year-old of Sam Mayer, following the 40-year-old of AJ Allmendinger, who's won every time he's ever been at this racetrack in the Xfinity Series? He seems to be falling right in his tire tracks, trying to learn as much as he can every lap.
Yeah, good decisions. We talked about it earlier. So where he is in points, he just needs a solid day today. He's good on the road courses. Just no mistakes. Giving up 3 or 4 spots is okay. But you cannot give up 20. Another guy that's having a really good run, Sage Karam, that 02 car, running in 5th place. Call out to those guys, doing a really nice job.
And called a good strategy. They came at lap 10. Same time we saw Noah Gregson come, and look at it, it's worked out for both of them, running 4th and 5th. And I expect some cars like the 02, like the 9, to pit before the end of this stage. You know, the 9 is already advanced, the 02's not in the playoffs. So I believe that, you know, the strategy would be to come before the end of this stage with 3 to go, right before pit road closes. You come, service your car, put on a set of tires, Rick, and then you're all set up for the final stage.
See, last pit stop, Sheldon Creed on lap 17 as we are now completing lap 34. Again, Sheldon Creed running up front. Kim?
And he gained that track position by short pitting the first stage, and that was by design. Crew Chief Jeff Stankiewicz told me this morning they don't have the playoffs to worry about, they don't have stage points to worry about, so they can just set themselves up for the win. We do expect Creed to do the same in this stage, short pit it, setting themselves up for a possible victory here at the end. Right now, he said he's fighting the same issue, but not as bad as the first run. And what was that issue? He just needs a little help, Marty, through the center of all of the corners.
Kim, a moment ago, Ty Gibbs got past his teammate Brandon Jones and then looked up and said, how are we 3 seconds behind Sheldon Creed? They told him, hey, listen, we're in a position to accomplish all we wanted to today. Stay within ourselves right now. So unlike what they did in stage 1, Dave, expect the 54-2 to flip this stage and come with 3 to go and put themselves in a better position to win the race.
Brandon Jones will be our Toyota driver update. He may not put himself in that position right away, the race-winning position. That's because I asked his crew chief, Jeff Mendering, would you stay out at the end of stage 2 for stage points? He said not for 2. I'd stay out for more than that. He'll stay for 8 if he gets it right here. We'll be back to the Roval.
Stage 2 coming to a close. Take a look at those top running order, though, in the stage. The 02 of Sage Karam currently running in the 5th position. Sage making his 12th series start here today in the Xfinity Series. Does have one top 5 finish, though, in his career. That came at Daytona earlier this year. Now, Sage comes from an open wheel background, and I've had the opportunity to chat with him multiple times throughout this season about learning his place in the field and gaining confidence driving this Xfinity Series car. And when I talked with him earlier today, he told me following that 9th place qualifying effort, this is probably the most confident that they've been heading into a race. Although Sage did share with me that for him to mark today's run as successful, he just wants to go out there, run every single lap, and finish this race with a clean race car. He's still very much actively learning this series and his place in the field. But as this stage comes to a close, he's running in the top 5.
Make sure to join Peyton Manning and his brother Cooper for the Ultimate Quiz Show as rival colleges go head-to-head on Capital One College Bowl. Fridays at 8/7 Central on NBC and streaming next day on Peacock. As a matter of fact, a lot of these drivers out here could be in college. Sam Mayer at 19 years old, probably a freshman or sophomore in college if he would be attending. Sheldon Creed out in front.
So we heard a lot from the pit reporters about, flip the stage or strategy, or there's all these different terms. Basically, the idea is there's a predetermined caution coming at the end of stage 2. So road course racing for years would say, hey, pit before the caution. Now you know when the cautions are. Pit road is closed when the leader, the 2 car, comes to 2 to go. So he has a couple options. He could pit this time or he could pit even the next time. I expect most of the lead lap cars, there's the leader, he chose to stay out. I expect to see pit road look like a yellow right here. Probably a few playoff cars may stay out for points, but everyone else who wants to have a chance to win this race, they're all going to come to pit road right here. Dave.
And the biggest adjustment for A.J. Allmendinger will be the clean air he would expect to see after this pit stop. He'll get 4 Goodyear tires here. He'll get Sunoco fuel to take him to the end with 30 to go. And then we'll see what A.J. can do, Marty.
Noah Gragson gives up 4th to flip the stage, as Steve was just describing how that works out. Went in an ice bag from the race team. So early in the race, the car was too tight. Now it's way too free. A little bit longer there on the right side. Shouldn't be too bad of a penalty here under green flag. The surprising thing, Steve, is that Ty Gibbs did not come down pit road.
Well, he hasn't yet, but he'll have the option to follow the 2 if he pits. And that might be their strategy, Marty, right? They might think, hey, we'll run 1 extra lap, have a little bit fresher tires. We see this 10 of Landon Castle after service doing a nice job. The 51 of Jeremy Clements is on pit road, getting some service. The leaders are on the backstretch right here. Comes the 2 of Sheldon Creed. Right behind him, the 54 of Gibbs. Now, the 54 could go either way. If the 2 pits, Ty Gibbs say, hey, I'm going to stay out for the stage win and a playoff point for the next round. Let's see what Sheldon Creed does. He's going to come to pit, or at least try, as he locks up the left front. 54 will come with him. Brandon Jones, the yellow Menards car, I believe is going to stay on the racetrack. There he is. He's going to come into view. He'll take over the lead. So coming to 2 to go, the 19 is now the race leader. Creed and Gibbs on pit road.
Yeah, so Brandon Jones, Riley Herbst, Sam Mayer, Algar, all those guys are going to stay out to get points, Kim.
And you see Sheldon Creed right there in the 2 on the top of your screen. This run, he just needs more through the center, and then he reported right before he came down, he needs better drive off. He loses at the end of the run. You saw the chassis adjustment, 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, Marty.
Chris Gale making the call last second to bring Ty Gibbs to pit road, but planned, as you mentioned, Steve, here pitting with 2 to go in the stage. Car's been just a little bit free. Quick stop by the 54 bunch.
They'll come out just behind the 2 of Sheldon Creed, and again, Brandon Jones staying out on the racetrack. He has the lead now, although we're coming up on 1 to go.
That's really important because of the stage points. He did not get in the first stage. Now he's going to get stage points and most likely win this stage. But also behind him, Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst got 6 points in the first one. Looking to get 9 here. Sam Mayer, he got 8. Looking to get 8 in this one as well. Algar getting more points. So all these guys, this strategy, they're putting points in their bucket trying to make the next round.
And remember, the guys, Jones and Herbst, running 1 and 2 right now, they were tied at the cut line. So one or the other was in a position that they were going to get cut. They're out there trying to get as many points as they can here at the end of stage 2.
Oh, man, on the onboard, you hear just how violent those curbs are.
How about Hamrick? He stayed out. He's going to get stage points. Who would have thought? He was in a wreck earlier. Josh Berry getting stage points.
So the top 10 will all get stage points. It goes from 10 points for first all the way down to 1 point for 10.
If he don't quit running over this curb right, he's going to break something and be out of the race.
Sounded like the radio to the spotter, I assume, of the 11. Talking about the curbs.
Yeah, he mentioned Brett Griffin, the spotter for Daniel Hamrick.
And this is one of those tracks, a lot of NASCAR has changed where these are sprint races. Go as hard as you can go. Jeff, you talked about it. 17 of the most difficult corners in all of NASCAR, not just because of speed, but you also have a driver have to decide how aggressive you want to use those curbs. These cars aren't indestructible. If you use them too aggressive all day long, you can break something, especially if you've already had wall contact like the 11.
Yeah, You just saw the 8-car Josh Berry, how sideways he was through the inner portion of the racetrack.
Brandon Jones now through 3 and 4, the 3 and 4 oval for the final time into the front stretch chicane. And Brandon Jones is going to work his way out of turn 17, and he will win stage 2. Riley Herbst gets that second spot. Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier, Davison, top 5. Brandon Jones' first career stage win on a road course. And a playoff point if he is able to continue on after today's race. Again, the top 8 in points advance. The bottom 4 are eliminated. And now just one stage remains here at this elimination race. The official app of NASCAR Tracks lets you stay up to date on the latest race and event information from all of your favorite tracks. All you have to do, search NASCAR Tracks. It's in the App Store. You download for free. You can start using it today. Rutledge.
Rick, we're down here at the bus stop, and we're really seeing a huge difference in how some of these drivers are getting through this turn, hitting the turn. Jeff, I want to know, we're watching guys like A.J. Allmendinger, Andy Lally, road course guys. Classically, they go through here like they're floating a marshmallow. Some of these guys go through like they're in a monster truck. How hard is it on these drivers and these cars when it's happening? And we're watching Ty Gibbs. Can he learn something following from a guy like AJ out here?
Well, right, you just heard Steve talk about these cars are not indestructible. You can hit those curbs too hard, and there is art in hitting the curbs. If you can have the car not as loaded on the side that you're going to hit the curbs with, it doesn't hit it as hard. How do you float over it? You get the car switched over to the other side, get the weight on the other side, and then it just gently goes over. And that's easier said than done. I can promise you I didn't know how to do it, but some of those guys really can.
Dave.
Good recovery for Daniel Hamrick. He finishes 6th in that stage. We'll get 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel. The winner of the stage, Brandon Jones. What a day for him. He's now on the plus side of the line after starting below 10, and he got to this line ahead of all the drivers he needs to beat today.
And a good point to grab by both Sam Mayer and Riley Herbst. Sam Mayer, bottom left, he said free off the turns. We're back where we were in practice. They took a chassis adjustment, 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. Riley Herbst in that 98 car said it's better this run, but still loses the back end through the run. They reminded him we need a good, clean stop. 5 lugs tight. Down and away is Riley Herbst.
Easy win off pit road for Brandon Jones. Mayer, Herbst swap positions on pit road. Davidson gains 1.
One stage to go here from the Charlotte Roval. When you take a look at that finishing order in stage 2, the highest junior motorsports driver was Sam Mayer in that one car. He finished better than any of his other teammates. All 4 of those drivers competing in the NASCAR playoffs right now. Sam, the only driver, though, that does not have a win in this series. Now, this is only his 2nd season in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. That one brought it down here under pit stops. 4 tires, fuel, a minor adjustment there to the right side, and got him back out on the racetrack. Did gain 1 position, though, on that race off pit road. Keep an eye on that one car. He's looking to make something happen here today, solidify that spot in the round of 8.
NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Ford. Built Ford proud. Northern Tool and Equipment. Start solving your projects today at northerntool.com. We're made for this. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Gorgeous afternoon here at the Charlotte Roval. Want to welcome in from the Peacock Pit Box, KP and DJ, and today's race recap built by Northern Tool and Equipment, guys.
Yeah, look, a lot of things have happened so far. The first thing with the 11 of Daniel Hamrick. We talked about him in pre-race.
Yeah, he was solidly running in the top 5. Had things kind of going his way, but a lot of damage there. A lot of things they had to do different, which were using up a lot of their tires.
Yeah, here's JJ Gately. Sorry about that, JJ, but Jeff jinxed you a little bit about that. He was riding with you at the time and talking about he just comes up off the corner and it gets away from him.
Yeah, and here's Chris Wright. Hard hit down in. We talked about the difficulty of this racetrack in turn 1 in particular. Looked like he might have lost the brakes right there getting in, but a hard hit brought out the caution.
Marco Andretti just has position, but just gets in the corner, and we talked about it in pre-race. What you don't know can put you in a bad situation here. You didn't know, and he didn't know how far he could get in the corner.
Yeah, and then a guy that's really needing some stage points there, Justin Allgaier, he and Landon Castle get together late in the stage. Cost him a couple of spots, but he did well. A.J. Allmendinger getting that first stage.
Huge surprise. Huge surprise. Starts on the pole and wins the first stage. That was a huge surprise. This is Andy Lally. We see him get in trouble. He was like the 3rd car to the scene of the accident and got the worst damage in this one.
Yeah, just hard racing. We talk about all of this, and AJ getting caught back in traffic. Didn't seem like his car was nearly as good. Spent a lot of laps and used up a lot of car trying to get around the 7 car here. You can see finally is able to do that. A driver that was really needing to have a good stage there. Brandon Jones able to stay out there, get those stage points that he needed to get himself back inside this top 8 trying to move forward. How about Marco Andretti, though, with the day that he's had? Pretty decent day.
It has been impressive. I have to admit. I know he's had a spin. Now he knows where the limit is on this car. And you've got to spin or you've got to do something to know where the limit is. But he's worked his way up through there. I said it before. His granddad, Mario, came and won Daytona in '67. John Andretti was just a mainstay here, part of our family. You know, he drove for Petty Enterprises for so long, won some races. It is great to see an Andretti in this race, and great to see him having a solid day. He's not had a great day, but nobody expected a great day, just a solid day.
Yeah, and he stayed in there and run hard. He's got himself, I think, up inside the top 20 right now. So he's got a whole nother stage here, the longest stage here, to get a little bit more experience and see if he can pass some cars, make no mistakes. All you, Rick.
Did you just say make no mistakes? There's still 25 laps to go. And with that, a very tight points battle. Who will advance into the next round of the playoffs?
So, Rick, at this point, we have the top two were advanced on the way in with wins. Gibbs and Hill have done enough through the stages. They're advanced. Allgaier, Mayer, Barry finish. If they finish with 4 tires rolling, they're looking really good. But we have a heck of a battle between the 98 of Herbst, the 19 of Jones, the 11 of Hamrick, and the 39 of Sieg. 4 drivers for 1 realistic spot in the points.
And a real battle for the win right here. Creed, he's not in the playoffs anymore. All those other 3, they are in. Just a fight for the win.
Final stage underway from here at Charlotte. Creed with a great restart. Out in front by a car length. Gibbs surging ahead to second now.
A.J. Allmendinger making a real aggressive move on the outside of Noah Gregson, taking that spot. Ran Noah up a little bit. Sage Karam back on the scene, doing a great job trying to take that position from Noah.
Sage in the 0-2, Noah Gregson in the 9. A.J. Allmendinger, what's on the line for him? Only an undefeated racetrack. That's right, he has only won here at the Charlotte Roval. 3 wins in the 3 races he's run here, looking to make it 4 in a row.
Allmendinger on the one restart earlier, Gibbs got away from him, and Allmendinger was never able to run him back in. Now Allmendinger is right behind this battle for the lead. He can't let him get away.
How impressive is Sheldon Creed, though, in this 2-car? First ever start at the Roval. Very limited practice, less than 10 laps in practice. All this preparation. Jeff, you talked about how tough this racetrack is. Just how much talent is this driver of the 2 showing being this successful in his first start?
Listen, we know Sheldon Creed is a really good race car driver, but under all the conditions you just talked about on one of the most difficult racetracks in all of racing, stepping up to the plate, out of the playoffs, but still bringing that excitement and enthusiasm, doing a really good job.
Sheldon still looking for his first Xfinity Series win. He's got a best of 2nd. And right now he has got a mirror full of Ty Gibbs.
See, Ty Gibbs, I feel like he's just maybe a little quicker than Creed. The fact that he can stay that close with him through this intersection tells me he's a little faster. How can he get this done? Look how close he stays to the right. That's to set this up. He's more to the left trying to make this pass. Creed is going to give him a little bit of room, but not enough. Still a good forward momentum. Ty Gibbs taking the shorter way around. Can he get to that left rear quarter panel? He's there. We're going to have a breaking battle getting into the inner loop.
Yeah, is he going to outbreak you? That's the question here. Jeff, you mentioned it. 2 cars can't go through there at the same time. And Ty Gibbs takes the lead away from Creed.
Now Allmendinger behind needs to stay aggressive right here.
Yeah, he does not want that 54 to be able to get a couple clean laps with the 2-car in between them. Although Sheldon Creed isn't giving up either. He is back to the rear bumper of the 54.
Oh, there's no quitting Sheldon Creed. Oh, locked the right front up. Can Allmendinger take advantage of it? There it is, a big run. How aggressive will Allmendinger be into 1? Gets really tight here. Creed not giving him any room, keeping it a spot.
And now the narrow infield section, almost like a street course. That's how our colleague Parker Kligerman explains it. Just walls kind of on either side, or at least on the side you don't want to run off from.
Interesting. Right now in the 8th position is the 45 of Stephen Parsons, brother-in-law to Sheldon Creed.
Some great names inside the top 10. Sage Karam.
Oh, and contact made there.
There it is.
Allmendinger gets in the back of him. Now the 27 is around. Jeff Burton is sideways, and the caution will come out. Burton running in the 15th position. And look at the damage to Marco Andretti's car.
Yeah, you see the fluid coming out. Obviously has damaged this.
Stop right there. Just stop right there. They'll come get you. I hurt my wrist again.
Don't want to put fluid around the racetrack.
They're coming to you right now. Just stay right there. Drop your window net.
That's a big hit. And you heard him let him know you got to drop the window net to let him know.
Right there.
Sounds like he hit someone. He mentioned his wrist. Remember, he had wrist surgery after an accident in the summer in a car. I think it was wrist or thumb, a hand injury that he had to have surgery to repair.
I thought he heard him say, "I didn't know he was sitting there."
Yeah.
As if he made contact and didn't see someone.
27 goes around.
Teammates battling. Boom.
Yeah. He was trying to avoid, didn't see the 27 was sideways.
So you see his vision's blocked. So he was behind Sieg and to the offset to the left of him as they approached the corner. So he never saw Jeb over there.
AMR safety
You're
team
telling me to get
there.
out? No, that's cool. You just can't get out until they come to you. It's all good, man. Hop out of there.
So that's the other thing about racing in a different series, knowing all the rules. Like we had mentioned earlier, Connor Daly was out on the racetrack, didn't put his window net down to signify to the safety team, hey, you know, I want you to come and check on me. And so there, Marco Andretti hadn't put the window net down. He said, hey, they're asking me to get out of the car. Is it okay to get out?
But I will give him, if you're gonna coin flip either way, stay in your car, stay connected with your belts, leave your window net up. While that concerns us in the NASCAR world because we're used to that as being kind of the signal that you're okay, I would much rather you're much safer in that race car than climbing out.
See the fans that are waving to Marco as he is out of the car now. And that one hurt.
Caution on the track here from the Charlotte Roval in the middle of stage 3. Alex Labay, strong run for Alex Labay here at the Roval. He started this race in the 12th position. He has his best finish in this series here at this track. He finished 4th at the Roval back in 2020, and right now in the 5th position, he's on his way to another best finish in his career. Alex Labay, one of 3 international drivers in the field today. Strong run. Keep an eye on that car.
It's playoff time, so represent your favorite driver and take advantage of all the amazing deals at the NASCAR shop. Go to NASCAR.com/shop. Tomorrow, huge race for the Cup Series. It's also an elimination race. Countdown to Green kicks us off at 1 o'clock. Then 2 o'clock, Cup Series playoff racing at 6 o'clock, streaming on Peacock, NASCAR America post-race show. At 1 o'clock, Countdown to Green. You guys are both a part of it. What a huge show this is going to be. NASCAR President Steve Phelps is going to join the Peacock Pit Box with you, Jeff, and Dale Jr., talking about so many of the great stories that have happened this year, 19 different winners, but also the troubles that NASCAR has had to deal with throughout the entire season. So many things that we'll be able to talk and hear from Steve Phelps. Chase Elliott will be live with Dale Jr. tomorrow. Chase Elliott searching for that second championship and what it means to be the most popular driver being talked to by the most popular driver in the sport. And of course, playoff drivers through the field. A great countdown to green. Can't wait for that tomorrow, guys.
Love that countdown to green show. So much fun. Great having just unbelievable guests on front of the grid on the Peacock Pit Box. That continues tomorrow.
All right, let's take a look at the Ruoff Mortgage keys to victory, guys.
Know who you are racing. You may have something that you need to get done today, and you're racing somebody that does not care. Recognize who they are, what they need out of the day, and stay away from those that can hurt you.
Easier said than done. Stay on track. Sounds simple. Anything but here at the Roval. That includes not missing chicanes, not getting caught up in somebody else's issue. And then, Jeff, I'm going to be on you. You continue to protect your car. I know it's only a 67-lap race, but these curbs are violent. If you are too aggressive, you can break that very valuable piece of equipment that's going to bring you to the finish.
You're going to have to promise me, though, at some point you're going to turn me loose. You got to let me go. There's only 20 to go. You got to let me know when I can roll it.
I'll let you go next week at Las Vegas.
All right. And now you take a look at the 4 drivers that are right there at the playoff cut line. The 98, 19, 39, and 11. 4 points right now separating Riley Herbst and Brandon Jones. That's the final transfer spot. 4 positions on the racetrack.
Yeah, 4 positions on the racetrack in either way, and all running very close together. The best currently Jones in 9th. The lowest so far is the 39 of Riley Sieg in 18th. So they can all see each other on the racetrack. It is going to be a stressful 20, soon to be 19 laps we've seen the green.
The restarts have been very calm to this point. With 20 to go, I expect that intensity and aggressiveness to pick up.
Sheldon Creed, Ty Gibbs making up row 1. 19 laps to go. Allmendinger almost making it 3 wide for the lead. He looked to the inside of that 54. And Allmendinger takes second away. Now Sheldon Creed trying to battle back, trying to get to the back bumper of Allmendinger. When we talked to AJ before the race on the radio, he mentioned the 54 was going to be good. Now he's got to figure out a way to get by him.
Thing I'm concerned about for him. Oh no! Riley Herbst, one of the guys we've been talking about needing a good finish, running well with damage to the left rear quarter panel. We talked about the restarts getting more aggressive. At some point there was contact.
Saw smoke back behind him, and sliding into the chicane is the 91 of Preston Pardus.
And that car might be high-sided over that set of curbs. I'm not sure there's enough weight on the rear tires to get it moving if he does get it fired. NASCAR will give him ample opportunity. Oh, big damage on the right front of the 18 as well.
So Davison has issues with the 18, and the caution has come out for the 5th time.
Yeah, had a nice run going in that 18. The 91 is able to get off the curb. And look at the tire smoke coming off the 98. Let's take a look at what happened to this 91 getting into the chicane. The damage is already on the right front fender of the 18. And you see on the upper right-hand side, the 91 gets in. I can't tell the car contact.
Wow, he made contact on the inside wall.
Yeah, I think it was the 34. Is that right?
Kaz Gralla in the 34 that looks like he got into the back of the 91.
And we saw that damage on the 98 riding around under yellow. Look at, we talked about it. Only 2
right
points
rear's fine, Richard.
above the cut line. I mean, you have to come at this. So it looks really bad because the quarter panel is flipped up and it's sitting on the tread of the tire. But I think at this point with 18 to go, you have to pit. You're going to have to come in and repair this car, at least take the sheet metal.
The deck lid looks okay, but the left rear quarter panel tore off it behind the tire.
You're hearing all the radio. That right there is the spotter. Let's take a look stack up on the restart, I think, Jeff.
Yeah, we talked about the restarts, how aggressive they would get. 98, just can't tell who that is behind him trying to turn underneath him. Actually, I think that's that 18 car of Davidson, maybe.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that's who it is.
We have seen this. Remember, the restart zone doesn't use the chicane, so everything, the entire cadence going into turn 1 is very different. We've seen the leader in the Cup race twice drive straight off turn 1. The best in the business completely miss a corner. So that's that stack up that happens at different times. Kim, what are you hearing on this 98 team?
And you see Riley Herbst right there, and he is just in dismay, thinks there is no way they can transfer to the next round. Richard Boswell, his crew chief, trying to reassure him, just stay calm. We're going to work on this. We don't know what's going to happen for these last 18 laps. We are not out of it yet. So just trying to keep their driver as absolutely calm as possible as he has that severe left side damage on that Ford.
The concern for the 98 is he is currently running 11th. So when we say he's 2 points above, it's an 11th place position that puts him 2 points above. It's not like he's running 25th. He's having a very good day.
Under green and I'll go down a lap, I guess. I don't know. We're in the middle of 3 and 4 Speedway. Pit road's open.
So let's go back and revisit. Here's Riley Herbst, okay? Davison behind him. Riley goes to the outside. Davison just being aggressive, doesn't judge the braking zone correctly, gets into the back of Riley Herbst. And I can promise you, part of what Riley is upset about is, I race every race. I'm in this championship battle, and I just got run into by a guy that's not. And that is frustrating. I'm not saying James Davison did some terribly wrong thing, but it is very, very frustrating when you get run into by someone that doesn't race all the races.
And the 98 stays on the racetrack with 17 to go. It's a little surprising to me, Rick.
It's NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs on NBC. The drive for the Cure 250 and a shortened day for Marco Andretti here in the Xfinity Series. He's with Dave.
Yeah, Rick, that was 2 cautions ago. Thankfully, he's walked from the infield care center here. You okay? You said something about your wrist again.
Yeah, my reflexes were a little better this time. I caught my thumb, but I got it out. But yeah, I was worried about that. But yeah, it just caught me out. I didn't know anybody was sitting in the middle of the track, 3 cars up. Of course, my luck, it's the only corner that the spotter couldn't see. So unfortunately, I didn't get help there. But you know, it was fun up until that point. I mean, I needed laps, and I just wanted to be out there for this type of carnage, and I ended up being one of the casualties. So it's a bummer.
Your first day in NASCAR didn't end well. Was it fun at some points this weekend?
Yeah, it was just starting to be. You know, I just didn't have enough time at all. You know, learning the car and the track. It was a pretty steep learning curve, but I just wanted to survive, and it was a bummer. We just got caught out, but you know, yeah, it was definitely starting to get fun there.
Will you come back?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, we'll just have to look at it.
Let's have him back. Marco Andretti out today. Thankfully, just a little bump on that wrist, Rick.
Thanks, Dave. All right, the vantage point from the Peacock pit box right there at the front of the grid. And KP, DJ, what are you guys seeing down there?
Well, I'm going to say this. Austin Hill deserves the never give up never give up boy award today. They have changed this pump. They have put water in it. They're changing pumps now. But they have put fluid into this steering pump. And the guys would stand on the outside of the car. They cranked this thing up, and they could not physically turn it from the outside of the car. I don't know how he ever got off pit road.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's crazy what drivers would do just to try to get themselves through into a situation. Yes. And now he's done that. He's locked in. I don't know how much. I know they want to fix the problem, see if they've got it done, but they're putting their driver through a lot here.
Yeah, this driver's gone through a lot today, and I want to say this too. These guys never gave up because they knew they needed an extra point, an extra point, an extra point. And we see Riley Herbst and that team gambling right now.
Yeah.
They're 11th. They can't give up that position because every point is going to matter when we get to the end of this, Rick.
Yeah, Riley Herbst right now above the cutoff line, as we mentioned, advancing already because of points. The 21 of Austin Hill.
The 98 of Riley Herbst running just inside the top 10, 3 points above, but has that very heavy damage on the left rear quarter panel. The team deciding to stay out. We could hear earlier on the radio, Richard Boswell.
The defender is wedged between the tire and the crush panel, so we don't think it's going to be able to clear itself.
Yeah, 10-4, I hope he's wrong.
I do too.
So that's the crew chief and the spotter talking about. It sounds like they got feedback from another driver, and I kind of agree. I think that quarter panel has flipped into an area where I just don't see it moving, Kim. I think that quarter panel is going to sit there and smoke pretty bad.
They feel really good about this decision. A big surprise, though, they had the Bear Bond, all the equipment ready to bring down Riley Herbst to make some repairs. However, remember, crew chief Richard Boswell was the crew chief for Chase Briscoe in 2018. When Chase won that race, they made a late race risky call. So the team very confident in their crew chief and keeping him out on the racetrack to gain as many points as possible, Marty, and try and move on to that round of 8.
And Kim, don't count out Ryan Sieg yet. I want to show you Bristol just a few weeks ago. This is exactly how the race played out for Ryan Sieg. He was below the cut line even late in the race, and everybody around him started falling out of the race. Not over for Ryan Sieg to advance to the round of 8, and he just told his crew, I'm getting better every lap. Let's see if we can pull this off.
He's 11 points back right now from that cutoff line. All right, ready for the restart. 15 laps remain here at Charlotte. Ty Gibbs, a great launch in the 54 out front. Now, A.J. Allmendinger fighting for that second spot with Sheldon Creed. Allmendinger surging ahead. Creed looking back to the inside as he gets right to the back bumper of Allmendinger.
You see the 19 and 98 a little bit further back. They're separated by only a few points. Riley Herbst did a nice job on that restart. Now fighting Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer lost a little bit of ground right there. Riley's got to carry some momentum off of this corner to beat him to that long turn 1 Charlotte.
There's a spin behind him in turn 6, and it looks as though he's going to get going again. So that was a 0-7 of Joe Graff Jr. And look at this. The one of Mayer trying to get by Riley Herbst.
Oh, that's a high-risk move by Riley, but it worked. Smart by Sam Mayer, too, though. He did not push the issue. He's in good position, 20 points to the good on points. did a nice job of not pushing the issue, kind of giving that spot up.
And I was concerned by the look of that quarter panel in the 98, but really very little smoke. So whatever has bent, moved, or clearanced itself so far, looking good for the 98 car. The call to stay out at this point looks like the right call.
Will it last for over 30 miles? Because that's what he still has. And there's the deck lid coming off of the 35. So another issue there for Brad Perez.
This battle continues. Sam got on the outside of Riley.
There's some more smoke coming out of the 98.
With that position, you see that Riley is +3. This battle makes me nervous for both the 1 and the 98.
Riley's just fine to let him go right here. There you go. Now you just gotta, now you're fighting that 8. Just do your best to keep that 8 car behind you.
Because right now the 98 is in. The 98 is in the top 8. The 19 is out by 3 points, or 3 positions more or less, if he can gain them on the racetrack.
So the 19 has the opportunity to go forward, and the 98 has the opportunity, unfortunately, to go back. Here's the 19 right in front of him, the 36 of Alex LeBay, a very talented road course racer. We see him run very well. Oh, we see Herbst backwards.
Hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake.
And now just that quickly, things have changed. Jones is in.
One more left side, clear, clear.
And Herbst is out.
Get down in the corner. I don't see any contact at this point. Oh, he just uses a lot of curb with that right front. The car gets loose. And the 8 of Josh Berry does a nice job of not making bigger contact. We talked about the curbing, Jeff, and there it is. Just losing control. I'm sure no left rear quarter panel is not helping it have any sort of side force turning back to the right.
Watch how hard it hits this bump, this curve. Now Riley, the only thing Riley can hope for now is a series of cautions. Kim.
And right before that, they had reminded Riley to just hit his marks, be smooth. He was doing that, then got that contact by Josh Berry. Heard Riley on the radio say, what an idiot. I assume he was talking about the 8 of Josh Berry, but right now, Riley Herbst just trying to cling on to everything he can.
And Cam, right now, the left rear tire is flat, so I'm not sure if that is from the spin or perhaps was some of the cause of the spin. Maybe he went in there, turned right, and the left rear was low on air, had less grip than he thought. I mean, he had been through there 54 times earlier today without an issue.
And unfortunately, he is a long way away from pit road. He just now is exiting turn 8. He has half the racetrack to go before he can get to pit road.
These are the decisions as a crew chief that will keep you up at night for months to come, right? And there's no right answer. It's so easy after something happens. Say, oh, well, you should have done X or Y.
What if he would?
What if, yes.
So Riley Herbst falling down the rankings now all the way to 11th, 17 points back where he's running, and he's limping around the racetrack trying to get back to pit road. Part of the tire carcass off the race car now up against the inside wall. Almost no rubber left on that left rear.
Yeah, so now at this point, the 98, well, that might help him.
Yeah,
that piece of debris might be the difference for a yellow.
I mean, that's honestly what you're hoping for.
There it is. Caution's coming out.
Yellow's out.
Okay, so the leader's
just off turn 8. He should have enough time to put left side tires on it and save his lap.
Oh, look at this. Allgaier got one of the signs.
Yeah, maybe the yellow wasn't for the debris coming off. Maybe there was another issue we didn't see.
Look at that Allgaier.
A good move right there.
How about Stephen Parsons in that 45 car?
Yeah.
Running in front of Justin Allgaier in 6th place. There's so much chaos going on, so much happening. He kind of, we talked about him earlier, but he's slipped up there in 6th place. The last month, Stephen Parsons has been on his game.
Yes,
he has had a lot of good runs.
Yeah, Bristol was amazing for Stephen, and we see now the 98 getting the attention of the crew.
Yeah, so they need to, put some left side tires on this thing as your first priority, and make sure there's nothing that's going to cut.
We gotta hurry.
Your brand new tire. You hear the urgency on the radio. Listen, we got to hurry. Let's get a left rear tire on it.
Just for reference, the leaders are in the
Here,
center.
middle 3 and 4, Speedway.
Oval 3 and 4. There you go. Speedway 3 and 4. So still plenty of time.
Come back. Come back.
I want to make sure nothing is going to cut that left rear tire.
Push it back. Push it back. Just push it back. Stan, get a hold of it.
He should be okay. Where he is on pit road, the leaders still have to go through the chicane. It's just simple distance, right? You're on the inside track. He should easily stay in front of the pace car.
There's 32 cars on the lead lap. He currently is down by 17 points. So, does it look good? No. There's still 11 laps to go. They're going to drop the green flag. The Roval has a history of caution, caution, caution at the end of these races. They got to stay in this game here. It is not over.
Brandon Jones right now 9 points above that cut line. Herbst's wheel carcass coming off there, and the sign coming off for Allgaier.
Betway. Oh, yeah, online.
And coming up on 10 to go as they are all in line now. We'll see who chooses to come to pit road. Once the field has been collected by the pace car all in line, they will open pit road. It is now open, and so we'll see who the first one is to come, and they're going to come a little bit further back. Are you surprised that Brandon Jones didn't come?
I think he is in position currently. He doesn't want to give up track position and then be eliminated, but because of that, we're going to see the counter move right here, the 39 of Ryan Sieg. I love this call, right? You have to find 9 points on the 19th. How are you going to do it? Marty, come put some fresh tires on.
Yeah, you see Ryan Sieg coming down pit road, -9 below the cut line. So Cowboy Starlin said, do whatever the 19 doesn't do. You also see Jeremy Clements on pit road, Dave, as well. So we'll see if these fresh tires will make a difference.
Only a win will work for Jeremy Clements in the playoffs today. Will he be tomorrow? 4 fresh Goodyear tires to try to send him to the front.
Coming off pit road, different strategies now. Ryan Sieg below the line. 5 points is what the scoring monitor is showing us right now. That's going to update as they get ready for the restart. 16 it looks like now. 11 for Daniel Hamrick. He's 9 points back.
And why that's important, you know, what makes this a little difficult, it's not a 2-car battle. So if it's just Jeff racing against, if Jeff and I are racing, I know I'm only worried about Jeff. But this situation here, you have the 19, you have the 11, you have the 39, kind of all in that mix. So, you know, while they're all focused on Brandon Jones because he's the one who's currently in, if he has an issue, you don't want to be so focused on Jones that you misstep and not have a chance to beat the next guy, right? So, really, it's all on Brandon Jones's shoulder at this point. He is running in 9th at one of the craziest places to start, going down into turn 1. He has to, you know, he just can't put his mittens on and wave people by. So there's a coin flip coming here of 2 or 3 wide. He has to decide where he wants to end up.
To me, that's the most difficult part if you're in Brandon Jones' position, is that you do not want to play prevent defense and allow them to get close to you. That is what's difficult for Brandon, in my opinion. You still got to have that right level of aggressiveness to fit your situation.
All right, let's get a few updates from pit road. We'll start with Kim.
Well, it might be a playoff race for the non-playoff drivers. They're still looking to make waves and steal wins, and that includes Sheldon Creed. And I talked to him this morning about what kind of car he had, and he said, we're legit a second or third place car. I love what I have. Currently, Creed running in the third position. He did radio to his team, Dave, and said, I'm not sure, though, guys, if I can keep up pace with Ty Gibbs and A.J. Allmendinger. We'll see what he can do on this restart.
Kim, what a nice turn of the day for Brandon Jones. He's got tires on to get him to the end. He's got fuel to get him to the end. And after qualifying 15th with some mistakes on his qualifying run, he has found a way toward the playoffs. Marty.
Well, Dave, I love this call by Cowboy Starlin, the veteran crew chief who's retiring at the end of the year from atop the pit box. He brought his driver Ryan Sieg down pit road. They are now minus 16 with 10 laps to go. He'll restart 25th. How far can those fresh Goodyears carry him, Rick? This is going to be fun to watch.
It will be. How aggressive will you get? That's the other question. We know that a race win is on the line as well. Up front, Gibbs, Allmendinger. Allmendinger trying to make it 4 in a row here at Charlotte. Coming up on 9 laps remaining at Charlotte. And around goes to 34 in turn 2. And they pile up behind him.
They're doing the 39 of Ryan Sieg, got through there clean. Unfortunately for the 98 of Riley Herbst, not so lucky. Green's still out. We'll see if these guys can get going. The 98's going to get out, but with all the debris on the racetrack, I just don't see how this can't be a yellow.
Yeah, 38, Patrick Gallagher stopped in there as well.
Look at this.
And the 2 of Sheldon Creed goes around and the caution comes out.
Oh, Sheldon's hot.
Sheldon is very upset, it looks. Keep an eye on this, too. I believe he's going to go find the 0-2, if I had to guess.
Careful now.
Now, we're under caution, and we've already seen that.
Don't do anything dumb here.
Yeah.
Cooler heads trying to prevail here, talking.
Brandon Benesh, I believe, is spotter with a wise call right there. Hey, don't do anything dumb. I know you're mad.
Yeah, precedent has been set that both the 24 on the Cup side for making contact with the 11 was a penalty, and we saw the Ty Gibbs car on pit road was also a penalty on the Cup side. You see the 98. So this is the counter, right? Why didn't they come in to fix a quarter panel? Because this is where they would have been a restart before. So it's so hard to decide. Let's take a look, though.
There's a lot of cars getting together, just fighting for spot. And look at Riley, just nowhere to go. And those are the breaks that sometimes you can't control. If you're on the inside line, you drive by the way Sieg did right there in the 39, you're like, okay, that's the break I needed. Or you're on the outside line, they start wrecking in front of it. What do you do? How do you avoid that?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. You saw the good side from Sieg and the bad side from Riley Herbst. Look at Sieg.
Yep.
He's like, yes, I needed that.
Right through. Take a look at what happened with Sheldon Creed here.
Wow.
And Sage Karam in the 0-2.
Oof. We have seen that point get tight a few times, so here you go. You're going to see it. He's inside the 2 right here.
Looks like to me, Karam felt like he got shoved down there, wasn't given enough space. They got together. Creed started to go around, and then those 2 of Sage Karam said, okay, I'm going to finish you off, and spun him on around. Let's listen to him.
The 9 was just pushing me in the butt like the whole time there, so I had nowhere to go. I wasn't even trying to hit that guy.
So this is interesting, that guy. Like,
right.
Like,
yeah.
Who's driving that car? Let's go back when we get a chance. We'll go back and look at it. And you know now what? You know, Creed races hard, right? He does. He did not give any room, but at the same time, he got rolled around. I mean, the 9 is. I don't see how the 9's in this picture at all of Noah Gregson. No contact. Right there he was.
Yeah, okay.
Right at the end he was.
Yeah, just bumped him there.
That is what finished him off.
Yep.
For sure.
So that's how Sage sees it. Sage sees it as I was, in his opinion, not hitting him hard enough to spin him out until the 9 made contact with my rear bumper, and that's what finished it off. Now, I would bet enlarged some, that the 2 doesn't see it that way at all.
Right.
You have the 02 and the 2. The 2 of Sheldon Creed, all he knows is the front bumper of the 02 hit the rear bumper of his car and he went around.
We don't have to go that far back as far as road courses, but Noah Gragson and the 02 of Sage Karam have a history where there was a little bumping and banging, and the next thing you know, carnage taking place on the racetrack between those two. Let's listen in on Sheldon Creed's radio.
Don't do anything dumb here.
Another 9 to dump out of it, please. Gotcha.
Couldn't, something about the 9. I'm not sure exactly what he was trying to say there, or maybe he
said please though at the end.
Yeah, that was nice. So I wonder, you look at the 02 car, Sage Karam, that damage on the left front. You wonder if that could cause a tire rub at speed. Sage Karam, I mean, he's been in the front of this pack all day long. We mentioned him, Stephen Parsons still in 6th, Alex LeBay in 8th.
How about James Davison with that fender issue back up to 11th in that 18 car?
And then you're looking at the point battle. All of this that's happened. Now the 19 of Brandon Jones, 7 points ahead of the 11 of Daniel Hamrick, the 39. Ryan Sieg, he's worked himself up after stopping and pitting. He's worked himself up to 20th spot. He has much better tires than these other 2.
Yeah, Ryan Sieg, as you mentioned, running in the 20th position. Daniel Hamrick is running 13th. Jones is 7th. And does this pit stop help Ryan Sieg, or the caution? Does the caution help Ryan Sieg?
That's what Ryan Sieg needs. He needs some really good restarts, pick up 3 or 4 spots, caution. Restart, pick up 4 or 5, caution. That's what he needs to make this work. See the 2-car Creed on pit road.
Well, you mentioned it, Jeff. A lot of times cautions and aggression happen at the end of this race. We're coming up on 6 to go. We'll be right back.
Less than 10 laps to go here in Stage 3 at the Charlotte Roval, the cutoff race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. There are 3 drivers currently in the top 10 that are not competing in the playoffs. Now, I spoke earlier today with one driver also not competing for the playoffs, and that's James Davison, a part-time driver, and we chatted about the potential advantage that a non-playoff competitor might have during this race. And James said really that advantage only comes into play in scenarios like we're seeing right now. Some of these guys that aren't competing for the playoffs, they might be willing to push the limits a little bit more on these restarts. Not quite as worried about position, finishing position, damaging race cars, more just worried about getting a win, while all these other drivers have a lot more of an agenda ahead of them here in these final few laps. So again, drivers like Sage Karam, Stephen Parsons, Alex LeBay, all they want to do today is go out there and get a win, where they have a slew of playoff drivers with different agendas around them.
We'll whittle down to 8, and that's the next race, Las Vegas, next Saturday, where the round of 8 begins. Coverage on NBC starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Speaking of Las Vegas, a big battle going on there this evening between BYU and Notre Dame. That's at 7:30 tonight on NBC. So these drivers fighting for playoff positions. A few have locked themselves in. Gibbs, Allmendinger, Gragson, and Austin Hill. A few others have enough points that as long as they finish, with Allgaier,
so
Josh Berry, and the 1 of Sam Mayer still looking good.
So really, the 19 of Jones is running 7th. The next driver behind him is Daniel Hamrick. He's running 13th. 6 positions behind him, 7 points between them. So Hamrick basically needs to outrun Jones by a position. Whether Jones falls back to Hamrick or Hamrick drives to Jones, either way, Hamrick has to outrun the 19 car by more than a position to advance. The next is the 39 of Ryan Sieg. If you're looking at him versus the 19, he basically is in the exact same position. If you look at the number of points and the gaps on the racetrack, so that's going to make it really easy to watch, because we're not counting points. We can just watch positions on the racetrack. pretty clearly it's whichever one of those three finishes in front of the other, he has the best chance. Now, the 11 of Hamrick needs a little bit extra spot, but the other two, it's really a heads-up battle.
Will it be a sprint to the finish, or will there be another caution? 6 laps remain. Gibbs ahead. Allmendinger in the 16 now, having pressure from Sage Karam in the 0-2. Karam getting bumped by the 9. Allgaier working his way on the outside.
Ray on the inside.
Highline work.
LeBay on the inside of Brandon Jones. Brandon has a decision to make. What's the right move here? LeBay is not going to give up that spot. Brandon wants to be aggressive, but doesn't know how aggressive to be. Got to be careful not to let them all stack up behind you. This push for Brandon Jones down the back straightaway is going to help him enter in the inner loop.
4 cars behind is the 11 of Daniel Hamrick. We saw all that damage early. So you see Jones too wide into the inner loop. Oh, you might want to let that 18 go. I think that's the smart move at this point in the race. Probably a little frustrated with a teammate, but Davison doesn't really care. He doesn't run for Joe Gibbs full time. And there is Hamrick, that 11 with the yellow roof numbers right there, only a few spots back. He could see playoff advancement right in front of him. Just go get Brandon Jones.
4 points separate the 2. Now, Sam Mayer with tire smoke in the 1.
See a car serving a penalty on the outside. Must have missed the back chicane. That was an aggressive move right there by Sam Mayer to get on the outside of Daniel Hamrick.
Ryan Sieg is a few spots back with fresh tires, trying to make him work. I just don't know if he's going to have enough time.
He's just going to need some help.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to need caution, an incident, which is likely to happen.
It's possible.
There's Sieg right there, and up front, it's still Gibbs over at Allmendinger, about a half a second. So this gap stays pretty consistent between these two.
Gibbs trying to stretch it out, as they'll be coming up on 4 laps remaining. Gibbs, Allmendinger, Sage Karam, Noah Gregson, Justin Allgaier.
I tell you, that James Davison in that 18 car, he's got newer tires than everybody else. He's run that group down in front of him.
And how about the top 2? What they've been able to accomplish in the last 12 road course races. 8 wins between the 2 of them. 5 by A.J. Allmendinger, 3 by Ty Gibbs. And the laps led is staggering.
Well, both running in the Cup race tomorrow, announced this week. A.J. Allmendinger going to go full-time Cup racing next year. This is a battle we're going to see in a lot of road courses between Ty and A.J.
Sun, a little bit of an issue there as they go through 6. And Sage Karam, who was running up in the top 5, off track and into the barrier on the outside of turn 5.
And I don't know if he has a rear tire down. Let's take a look at what happens. Oh, he just comes in at speed. Hard to see. Now the deck lid
about to come off.
You see the 39 of Ryan Sieg trying to pass the 26. That'll give him the 12th position. And if that deck lid does come off and we get a caution, that's the 39. Would love to see that.
He just doesn't want to get hit by Sage Karam right now.
Well, Sage without a deck lid is going to have a hard time continuing at much pace.
And look at this. There was some contact.
Yeah, man, I think that's
light.
39 just trying to come through at this point.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That's how aggressive right now we're seeing Ryan Sieg be as Karam gets onto pit road, and Ryan Sieg all over the back bumper now of that 26. Danny Kvyat under fire from the 39.
Oh, no.
Really close to the inside wall.
Yeah, Sieg's pushing on him hard.
Sieg knows what's on the line. He has those fresher tires, and he just has to get kind of in some clean air to make them work.
That 2 car behind him, remember, he was just on pit road. He's got new tires, so that's going to put somebody behind that 39 car Ryan Sieg. Don't want to get passed by somebody. That's somebody else you're going to have to get through somehow, some way.
Right now, Landon Castle behind the 39 of Sieg. Sieg still not able to get by Kvyat.
And on the left side, you see Gibbs about an 0.8 of a second. Call it a 1 second lead over AJ Allmendinger, then Noah Gragson, Allgaier. And how about Stefan Parsons running inside the top 5? A great run.
There's Stefan Parsons.
Career high at this point in his career is an 8th place finish at Bristol. He'd love to match that or improve on that if he can stay inside the top 5.
Caution, caution.
And there's the caution. It's come out. That means another restart. Quite possible this is for debris. We're hearing it's for debris on the backstretch.
Brandon Jones is thinking, why couldn't we have just run 2 more? I've kind of found a safe spot.
It's come down to this, though, hasn't it, guys? Where it will be potentially a green-white checker, and the 2 guys right at the line will be tied.
He hated it. He hated to see this caution come. But Daniel Hamrick and Ryan Sieg and Riley Herbst were so excited when the caution came. Gives them an opportunity.
Joe Graff Jr., not only sparks, but parts coming off that 07. And so the caution comes out. Yeah, more parts and pieces coming off the 07 before we got to the backstretch chicane. The right front tire was down.
This is right here between turns 1 and 2. He gets up into that outside wall. That's really the narrowest part of the racetrack. That's where we see Riley Herbst get caught up in that accident. He's just walling inside and outside, just nowhere to go.
And Riley's only 8 points back. I mean, I know he's got a lot of people to go through, but we are getting ready to have a restart. It is the Roval. Anything could happen.
You're right,
not
Jeff.
that far back.
You're absolutely right. I'd kind of written him off after that damage, but these fresh tires and a great drive by Riley has him in 20th. So with you point 8 points back, but there are many points available if he can get by the guys in front of him.
He might be in the safest place, right?
Yeah.
We'll see. It's another restart as we will be in overtime.
It's so stressful as a driver trying to make the next round of the playoffs. Caution comes out late. Okay, now what do I have to do? And you start thinking, man, what are they aiming for me? Are they shooting for me? You know, Brandon Jones has just got to just focus on what he's doing. Team around him's got to pump him up. Let him know what the situation is. Give him all that information. And then you just got to go trust yourself. Drive it in the corner like you normally would. Just trust yourself and go do your job.
Rules of overtime. Once the leader takes the white flag, the next flag ends the race. But the leader has to take the white flag before that is in effect.
And you mentioned that 18 of James Davison running in the 6th position with no right front fender, but fresher tires, and he had run some pretty good lap times, Jeff.
Oh yeah, he had gotten by some of these guys, and he's sitting there with better tires. No fender on the right side, but better tires. He could be part of this story right here.
When you mentioned know who you're racing, you have to ask yourself, right, so we see Brandon Jones right here in the bright yellow car with the black hood. Then we have Alex Labay, but then behind him, Josh Berry and Sam Mayer. I think they have to ask themselves, how much of a fight do they want to put up against Daniel Hamrick? Because they're on to the next round if they can just finish this race. So, you know, not that you expect Hamrick to be the guy that would drive through you, but you have to ask yourself, how much do I want to defend a potential pass if the 11 gets positioned? Marty.
Let's chat with Jeff Mandering, crew chief for Brandon Jones. Right now, +5 above that cut line. How are your nerves?
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. But, yeah, Brandon's done a great job all day. Put us in a great position here. Didn't really want to see that caution. Hopefully that doesn't bring more chaos up around us. But, yeah, he's done a good job. I feel pretty confident about it.
I know the caution, not what you wanted to see, as you mentioned, but what information are you relaying to him? Does he want to know exactly where he is and what he needs to do?
Yeah, we just got to let him know how hard he needs to push. Obviously, we got a 5-point cushion right now, but Hamrick's not far behind us, so he's going to be coming hard, so we can't let up.
Hamrick, Ryan Sieg. Also, you guys mentioned Riley Herbst back in the game, so Brandon Jones and this entire team, Kim, feeling a little nerves right now.
And let's see what the crew chief for Daniel Hamrick has to say. What are you telling your driver, Jason?
Well, we've been struggling. We don't have power steering, so I just want him to shake his arms off, get a drink, and it's only 2 more laps to go. For all the problems we had today, I mean, to still have a shot at it, that's all we can ask for right now.
How aggressive do you want him to be on this restart?
The restart of his life.
The restart of his life. You heard it from Jason Trentry, crew chief for Daniel Hamrick.
What a battle he has had inside that car. No power steering. We will have extended NASCAR America post-race coverage on Peacock, so make sure to join us there after the race. All right, we mentioned it before, 4 drivers all striking distance with only 1 position remaining. Right now, the 19 of Brandon Jones is in, but only by 5 points, 5 positions over Daniel Hamrick, the defending and reigning series champion. Then Ryan Sieg, fresher tires, he's 6 points back, and Riley Herbst, that wounded car, 8 points back.
Daniel Hamrick, no power steering. We just learned that. I mean, what a incredible drive to be in this position.
And with all of that, we still have the possibility of A.J. Allmendinger winning 4 in a row here at Charlotte. It is overtime, presented by Credit One Bank. Ty Gibbs, A.J. Allmendinger. Little contact made as they go across the line. Allmendinger surging ahead through 2. They make contact again.
Allmendinger with a great move to get in front of Ty Gibbs. Lots of contact deeper in the field behind him.
Yeah, there was contact between Ryan Sieg and Daniel Hamrick, which has given Sieg a chance to run down the 19 as the battle for the lead continues. Oh, the 98 turned around. Heavy contact with the wall.
We'll see if he's able to fire it back up and roll. Or will that bring out a caution? If the race leader does not get the white flag, they'll have another restart.
This battle right here is going to head right into the chicane. The 54 is going to try to get to the rear bumper of the 16, try to outbrake them. The 98 still sits on the grass. A block by the 16.
Yeah, aggressive block by Allmendinger. Riley Herbst still not moving.
He's trying. You see him roll, and now the caution comes out. There'll be another restart.
Caution's out.
Ryan Sieg, the benefactor in all of that chaos.
We heard save fuel. We hadn't had that discussion, but, you know, I'm not sure how many guys were planning on these overtime laps.
Sieg is 2 points away from Brandon Jones now. So Sieg has moved his way up into striking distance.
And with much better tires. Let's go back and see what happened to Riley Herbst.
Daniel Hamrick, I think, is coming up to let the 39 know he is very unhappy with him. It was a 3-wide move by the 39 in contact with the left rear corner of the 11. It kind of opened the door for the 39. Aggressive racing with a lot on the line.
And you see Riley Herbst out of the 98.
Yeah, things were going so well for Riley Herbst.
Here's what I was referring to right here. Let's watch the 39. He's going to hang a left and try to get down on the inside of the 11. He's not really there, just makes contact, sending the 11 up into the 2 and kind of opening the door for the 39. That is why Hamrick was so unhappy, and this is what happened in the 98. Couldn't tell. I saw a tire get dropped off in some dust, and the 98 kind of sped out of line.
He's trying to get started. Pushing that Coca-Cola sign. We've seen that so many times.
That's amazing how many times drivers have pushed signs around. Let's ride along with him.
Nothing out back here. Keep it down. Easy. Just back here. Hold the brake here.
You know, what a shame for Riley Herbst. He drove a really good race. One thing happened that wasn't his fault, and that led to another and another, and now the end of the day. And he was doing his job. He was doing what he needed to do to make the next round of the playoffs. It all started with something that he had nothing to do with, but it just kept snowballing.
And Jeff, we're going to go back and say, what if? What if he comes to pit road, clears that debris off of the left rear tire, which was the issue, the initial issue of all of this, and now we won't know. We won't know what if.
Yeah, but, you know, it's so easy to go back and pick on it after it happens, but it's taken 3 races to get to this point. This is just the 3rd of 3 races. This might be a little bit better view.
I feel like right there, what happened was the 51, you know, he got off track of Jeremy Clemens, and he came back on, caught the left front of the 98, and then he just lost control. It's just racing, you know, like we always want to point a finger and say, that guy did this, that guy did that. You know, when you have this kind of racing, hard action, sometimes you're going to make contact.
And I will say, you know, we heard save fuel. The drivers that pitted at lap 37, which involves A.J. Allmendinger and Noah Gragson, there is some question mark about the fuel. Let's listen into the 16.
Hey, listen to me real close. We might have to get on them flat and just shake it to the right. The pickup's in the right side on these cars, okay? Bruce is looking up numbers right now.
So that's basically instructions. So what that is under yellow, riding around on the banking, the fuel gravity pushes it to the left side of the fuel cell. The pickup's in the right because at speed, it kind of sloshes over to the right. So coming through 3 and 4, before you come to take the green, you got to run flat and kind of swerve the car to fill. There's a box over there, and you want to fill it up with fuel. It has some trap doors that lets fuel in. Try not to let it out. So that would be what A.J. Allmendinger is being explained to do right here.
We're going to try overtime again.
Now it's really, as far as the points go, it's a pretty simple battle between Jones and Ryan Sieg. Whoever runs in front of the other is going to advance, assuming the 11 of Hamrick doesn't find their way past either of them. We'll have to just wait and see. He's only a few cars behind them as well.
Well, there's Brandon Jones, the bright yellow car, right? He is 3 points ahead of this car of Ryan Sieg. Ryan Sieg, the advantage he's got is he has much better tires, much newer tires.
Marty.
Let's chat with Cowboy Starlin, and they are contesting the position. You see Ryan Sieg riding right on beside the 8 car of Josh Berry there. They think they actually should be 1 spot forward of that, so that would make them 2 out. So you made the aggressive call to bring your driver to pit road, Cowboy. He's been aggressive on the racetrack. Could you guys possibly pull this off?
Well, I think, you know, Ryan knows what he's got to do. This Ford Mustang's doing pretty good. He's got it kind of figured out, spent a lot of time in the sim, so I mean, we're not afraid to use the front bumper, so we're going to do what it takes to make it go over there, you know. So there might be some feelings hurt after this, but, you know, we didn't come here just to, you know, go, you know, finish outside the playoffs, so we're going to do what we got to do.
So have you unleashed him, and how aggressive could he play this overtime restart?
Oh, absolutely. He knows what he's got to do. He's got his dad on there on the horn up there revving him up, so Rod Sieg can get some. If anybody get anybody revved up, Rod Sieg can. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
All right, Dad Rod on the radio. I'm not sure that's a great idea, guys, because Dad Rod is a fun guy to hang out with, and getting Ryan all fired up to maybe go force his way to grab 3 more spots at least.
So
Marty, a great point. I mean, they're not here to ride around. They're not here to just finish in a position. They're here to make the playoffs, the next round of the playoffs. And to do that, he is going to have to pass at least 3 cars.
And so when they say contesting the position, that's what NASCAR said. Hey, if you want to contest a position right next to it, we'll go back. It's loop lines that determine it. But because it's electronic, they would just go back and make sure on the film it's nothing crazy or there's something maybe didn't malfunction. We have seen it contested before. Rarely does that electronics seem to lie in those. So
there are circumstances, though, in which a scoring loop can show that you are in the right position, but a guy didn't maintain position for track speed for whatever reason, or maintain reasonable speed.
So
now
that's
why you challenge it.
Right. So now the 19 will be on driver's left, which is inside on turn 1. Both good and bad. Good because the chance you make in the corner goes up pretty high, but bad because if it stacks up down there, there's nowhere to go. The 39 might have the chance to roll around the inside. It's really going to be, in my mind, all through 1 and 2. Who gets a better restart?
Sieg's on full offense right here. He has nothing to lose. And we saw how he drove the last restart. I don't see any reason why he's not going to be super aggressive on this one as well.
And let's not forget at the front of the field, Allmendinger and Gibbs. Allmendinger questionable on fuel. Let's see if it takes off.
So Allmendinger trying to put a little fuel in that right rear quarter pan, or the right rear of the fuel cell, as we try overtime again. A.J. Allmendinger on the inside, Ty Gibbs on the outside as they race side by side into turn 1. Allmendinger all the way up the racetrack, almost running Gibbs into the wall.
Look at Sieg trying to make it 3 wide. Brandon Jones driving away from him.
Sieg falling back now as the fight for second has the 54 of Ty Gibbs in front of Noah Gragson right now. Oh, and around goes a car in the back of the pack.
And they got Stephen Parsons in the 45.
It is.
Getting spun around. Still green, though.
After a great run for Stephen Parsons, he gets turned around, and we stay green. Down the backstretch and into the backstretch chicane. Allmendinger with a 6-car length advantage right now over Gibbs.
And only one car separates Ryan Sieg from Brandon Jones, and that is the 8 of Josh Berry, who's between them.
2 points will determine potentially who makes it into the next round of the playoffs.
Allmendinger with a 3/4 of a second lead.
White flag, one more time around.
Sieg pushing for all he's got, using all of the racetrack.
Sieg knows what he has to do. Rod, his dad, on the radio letting him know he's 2 spots away from advancing in the playoffs.
Well, if he gets to Josh Berry will be moving out of the way because he is coming fast.
Allmendinger still with almost a second lead over Gibbs for the race lead.
Remember, if Josh Berry gets by the 19, that'll slow the 19 down, and then the 39 will be right there.
Josh Berry in the 8s. He's got to the back of the 19. Now they're on the big track for the final time. Allmendinger looking to make it 4 in a row at Charlotte. And can Brandon Jones hang on to this final spot for the playoffs through the backstretch chicane for the final time for the 19? And A.J. Allmendinger announced he's going cup racing full-time next year. He is still undefeated at Charlotte in the Xfinity Series. He's going to win again at the Roval.
You were the man, like I told you, it would all work out. I love you.
Two points will separate Brandon Jones
do it.
and Ryan Sieg.
You're a stud. Great job. Dinger's house, baby. Dinger's house.
Let's go!
A.J. Allmendinger. That makes it back-to-back races as well. He won a week ago at Talladega, and now 4 straight here at the Roval.
Think of how impressive that is. The track is so, I know he's fast, but so many things can go wrong. Undefeated at the Roval.
You know, mid-part of the race, it looked like he didn't have the pace. He couldn't keep up with Gibbs. Gibbs drove away from him. He made a really nice move on a restart, got back by Ty Gibbs, and then he was able to drive away from him.
Again, extended post-race coverage will be on Peacock. We'll get all the interviews there. A.J. Allmendinger coming back around to the front stretch to celebrate.
Back-to-back wins for the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger.
5th win already of 2022 for A.J. Allmendinger. He won stage 1 and grabbed the playoff point. With the win, that's 5 more playoff points that he will take into the round of 8. Closing the gap between he and Noah Gragson for the top spot in the rankings for the next round in the playoffs.
let's goes. I'm going 4.
You think it's 4?
Yeah, I'll go 4.
I love watching AJ celebrate, though. The enthusiasm is real. It shows how much these races mean to him.
He's gone through so much in his career. At 40 years old. Is that 1? At 40 years old, there's a rejuvenation that we're seeing out of AJ Allmendinger. And Dave's down there with him.
Oh my goodness, AJ Allmendinger again at the Roval. Yeah, go up and tell him.
Woo! Come on, let's go!
Come on, indeed. It's never been done. First 4 starts at a track in the Xfinity Series, 4 wins. What does it mean to you?
It's unbelievable. Thank you, everybody. All the credit goes to all the men and women at College Racing. Nutrient Ag Solution, Chevy was pretty good, but Ty was really good there at the end, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to get him. I knew I could just get to 1 restart on the outside of him, at least we had a chance, but can't thank Xfinity enough for putting on these shows. All of our partners that have come on board. Action Industries, that was cool to win last week with them. Try to win tomorrow in the Cup race. But more than anything, Chevy and ECR and Sparco and Celsius for everything that they do, but everybody, all the men and women at College Racing, I was whining pretty bad there. I'm not going to say that. You know, I can't say what I really wanted to say. I was frustrated. Didn't think we had a shot, but I'm always going to put it on my back when it's time to go, and we got that one. We stole that one.
Got back to the front, got it done, and a serious, serious threat for the championship.
Most definitely, Dave, as we take a look at the points now. The round of 8 starts at Las Vegas next Saturday. Gregson with a little advantage over Allmendinger. Gibbs and Allgaier, they're the top 4. Barry, Hill, Jones, and Mayer all advancing, and they will be battling it out. We'll see the interviews of the drivers that advanced into the next round, and we'll talk to those who were oh so close. NASCAR coverage always available on NBCSports.com for extended post-race coverage from Charlotte. Make sure to join us coming up now on Peacock, next on NBC Local News, except on the West Coast. Then at 7:30 p.m. from Las Vegas, it's Notre Dame versus BYU. Congratulations, Allmendinger, undefeated at Charlotte.